Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I'm so grateful to have you here, sharing in this space of growth, healing, and transformation. If you've already subscribed to Loving Everything, thank you for being a part of this beautiful community. Your support means so much, and together, we're creating a space where love in all its forms can be explored and embraced. As you listen to this episode, if it resonates with you, I invite you to like the video and share it with anyone who might benefit from the insights we're diving into today. These conversations are all about expanding our capacity to love ourselves, each other, and the world around us. And if you enjoy what you hear, don't forget to explore my other episodes where we journey into love's deepest, most unconditional forms. Each one is an invitation to reconnect with the parts of yourself that are waiting to be seen, healed, and loved. So thank you for being here. Let's begin. So you were born in Moscow.
Yes.
But you moved to Kyrgyzstan as a child. Can you share what prompted that move for your family and what it was like adjusting to that new place?
Well, any new place, I want to maybe say something else.
Okay.
Basically, I moved to like major moves 2 times.
Okay.
From Moscow to Kyrgyzstan, from Kyrgyzstan to US, and it's associating, like, to me, with just losses, because there was no internet back then.
Yeah.
It was, before all the internet, so I lost friends 2 times.
Yes.
And that would be the hardest part of it all, is moving and going to the new place. I always felt like, biblically, okay, there's Abraham that was calling himself alien and stranger to this world. So that's what I felt like all my life, because of this couple moves, which I never kind of got adopted 100% to the place, where I felt, even now, I feel like I'm ready to go, somewhere else.
Okay.
This kind of thing.
How long have you been in the U.S.?
25 years.
And how old were you when you moved to Kyrgyzstan? And I know I'm not pronouncing that right.
Yeah, Kyrgyzstan. I was 11.
11. Okay,
11.
So you were old enough to actually remember the move for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
And then 17 when I moved here.
Oh, wow.
So, yes. And
so you were only there 6 years.
yes, 6, but those 6 years would be like impacted my life the most, because it was, from those years, teenage years, where it's interesting place, because there was different cultures. Kyrgyzstan it's a part of used to be Silkway from China, everywhere else. So that was on the center.
Yeah.
And there are many people, Kyrgyz, Uzbek, Kazakhs, Chechens, Russians, Germans. There was well, obviously, it's not because of the Silkway. Germans were there for a different reason. But so in Turk languages, Kyrgyz language is very interesting language, because even in Mecca, where they would preach, they would be using, there's several languages they preach on, and one of them would be Kyrgyz language, because that part of the world, like Kazakh, Uzbek, I'm not sure, but Kazakh, and so all the stands, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, pretty much all the stands, I'm sure it's Uzbek as well, Uzbekistan, they would understand Kyrgyz. But among each other, it's harder to understand
the different languages, the different dialects.
Yeah, that's That would be a Kyrgyzstan.
So you had to learn a new language.
No, well, I did not. There was a lots of big Russian population.
Okay.
So I know a few words. I can talk.
Okay.
Say a few words.
So you still speak Russian, obviously.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And then do you speak any other languages besides Russian and
No,
English?
I like ancient Russian too. I read on this.
You read ancient Russian?
Yeah, it's Cyrillic.
Uh-huh.
So it's fun for me. It's fun to read, but I realize after several years,
Not difficult, fun.
yeah. I realize that I start understand more, not everything, but Polish, Ukrainian. I can.
Because it all stems from that.
Yes, it's kind of
It's like learning Latin.
Yes, it's kind of nice
Yeah.
to read. To be able to read.
I bet. How did you learn?
It's. I would show. I would show you, but it's. So basically, there's 44 letters.
Okay.
Modern Russian is 33.
Okay.
And the ancient is 44. They look very different. The letters themselves, but once you know what they are. You can, like any Russian speaker can actually figure out, yes, and get a.
And ancient Russian, like when would that have moved into modern Russian language? Like, when you're talking about ancient,
so it's hard to
determine.
It's not even that. So it's man-made language. Okay?
Yeah.
So the ancient Russian was made to translate Bible because so like you familiar with kosher idea, right?
Yeah,
like something kosher.
Sure.
So the language is supposed to be kosher to even do service. Service in church back then. Right now it doesn't matter what you read, but even till today you have, for example, Muslim cannot do service on English.
Right.
It has to be on Arabic.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the idea with ancient Russian.
Okay.
So there's two guys translated for they made this language to translate Bible. So the Bible could be read officially, in church on this language.
And then only the special and privileged could read the Bible. Because the general people could not.
General people.
Yeah.
In most areas they couldn't. They didn't because even the book was too expensive by itself.
Of course.
The cost of a book would be equal to a house. Sometimes.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it's.
The original patriarchy. Okay, interesting. Well, thank you for that insight. What was it like growing up in, I'm going to say it again, Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan.
Well, it's a beautiful place.
Is it?
It's very beautiful. So
is it cold?
In the winter it's cold. In the summer it's hot. So it's got vivid 4 seasons.
Okay.
So it's nice.
And by cold, how cold?
It could in negative.
Below 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, I could say in the Celsius.
Yeah, you don't know in Fahrenheit. Yeah,
Fahrenheit, I have be. It would be, it would
Very
be way below in Celsius. Like could go minus 40 degrees.
That's significant.
As low as minus 40.
Okay, that's cold.
But vivid 4 seasons. It's just beautiful seasons. Kyrgyzstan is actually, it's. To me, even after 25 years of being here, I'm surprised that people haven't heard about Kyrgyzstan because Everest is, 28,000 feet high?
Yes.
And Kyrgyzstan mountains, they're like 24, 26, 24.
Wow.
So they are as big as Everest.
Yeah.
The mountains.
Yeah.
And it's not only one mount, it's a mountain
whole range.
And it's just unbelievable how it looks. Just on the one side, you have this amazing giant mountains. That's actually border China and Kyrgyzstan. That's mountains are, and very good scenery, unbelievable. And also the hunters go there from around the world.
Okay.
Of course, there's prohibited animals to hunt.
I would imagine.
They still.
I don't know how the animals survive in those conditions. That's so cold. It's so cold, right? They don't have heaters.
There's a Ussurisk tiger.
Yeah.
In Russia.
There's a tiger that lives in those conditions.
Lives in the snow. Yeah, but not in Kyrgyzstan.
It must be like a snow
There's
leopard.
different type of tiger lives in the Kyrgyzstan mountains.
Wow.
But even tigers. So it's for animals. I mean.
Wow. Okay.
God creatures.
Yes. Okay. What was the culture and community like there?
Well, I was saying, too many people of different kind of people.
Okay.
So there's, and
so
obviously,
too diverse for you.
Not for. I mean, I like it there.
Yeah.
Because of so many different people, you have to adapt. Basically, there would be, with many different people, many different cultures, and you have to learn quickly, not to go over line with some topics. That's why
I see what you mean. Not to offend people.
Yeah, people are very flexible. They watch what they're saying. They are. It's good, great experience.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very unique place. There was at one point so many Germans, even there was at church there was a service in German.
Wow.
So like they would have service in German language.
Okay.
Which is
there's a significant
unbelievable,
population.
to hear somewhere in Kyrgyz, like in the middle of Central Asia.
Yeah.
There was this place.
Do you remember growing up in Russia, what that was like?
Yes. Yes. But so I'm just thinking about in Russia there is certain things in Moscow. I can remember even smell of people that were not born there.
Yes,
they don't know the smell of it for some reason. It smells like Moscow smells like so I talk to people that have some. I found a few people that could agree with me that they were born there. That
what does it smell like?
It's just like Moscow. So you can't. So
it just smells like Moscow. You can't describe it.
Yeah, you can't describe it. So
everything there has a smell.
I'm curious,
including the people.
Yeah, I'm just curious if somebody was born, like for example, in Portland.
And then they went there. Yeah.
Okay, my kids were born in Portland. I'm still curious if they would
notice the smell.
If they would leave Portland for a few years and come back and be able to tell if it smells like Portland. There is a certain vibration and even
there's
smell.
Definitely a vibration. I agree with you. I'm trying to think of if Portland has a smell. I guess maybe, well, to me, okay, here's my experience. I grew up in Southern California, so I was just there 3-4 days ago to visit my daughter, and down there it's very dry. It's like desert, and there's not a lot of water, and you can feel it. You can feel it, with the trees. You can see it in the environment. Everything is struggling to survive. Mm-hmm. And it's different than going to a desert because the desert has adapted, right? The desert, for instance, like if you go out to different parts of California, maybe Joshua Tree, that has actual cactuses, right? They haven't tried to change the environment. What they did in Southern California is they really changed the environment. They denied that there were cactuses and agave growing. They pulled all of that out and they grew orange trees and strawberry fields and planted lawns and, used a bunch of water from other states. And so the area it's like in denial. It's in denial. That's the smell of Southern California to me, is in denial. In denial of, natural resources, in denial of what is actually true, right? And so to me, it feels and smells very dry, like you're dehydrated,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Portland to me, my experience of Portland is, and my daughter goes on and on about how much she misses this, is Portland smells fresh to me.
Yes, it is.
And the quality of the air.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's I can't describe it, but there's it's not humid, but there's just the right amount of humidity that it doesn't make you sweat in the summer and feel like you just took a shower when you walk outside and then you're moist again. It has moisture to the air, but you're never going to sweat because of it. It's like the nicest quality air I've ever experienced. And it's got to be because of all the forests that
of course.
Rainforests.
Yeah,
that we're getting rid of. Yeah.
Rainforests,
and
which is
building
amazing.
kitchens and houses with. But ultimately, that I guess is the smell to me. I don't know that it smells fresh like you just washed it, but it's, it's not the smell of freshness like after a rain, but it's clean. It smells clean.
Pure, yes.
Yeah, it smells clean.
Nice.
So I get that things have a smell. So and I don't know what Moscow would smell like because I've never been there.
That's actually would be interesting topic to
discuss,
to find other people where they were, if they were born in a place and then moved,
yes,
and if they were visiting back, if it makes sense whatsoever, because I was saying it a few times with different people. That's I know this. There's an actual smell of Moscow. And
so if you had to describe it, what does that smell?
I would say it smells like fall.
It smells like fall.
Fall, yes.
Like crisp.
It's
like
so when the
leaves dry leaves,
dry leaves and some rotten leaves.
Wow.
But they're not bad. It's a good smell.
Yeah.
It's not a bad smell.
Yeah.
That would be
the equivalent.
Somewhat resembled.
Okay.
This would be to
Interesting.
this, but
and it smells like that all year round.
Yes. I mean, when I went there visiting,
to me that just smells ancient.
So I didn't realize it when I was living there.
Right, like an old library or something like that, like something that's been there for a really long time.
Yes.
Okay,
but
that makes a lot of sense.
I never knew.
Portland hasn't been here for a really long time, right?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But I
not
never
as
knew
long
it
as Moscow.
when I lived there. I didn't know this.
Of course not.
It's exactly when you don't.
You don't know what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So.
But so this is.
So tell me about your childhood. What was that like?
I'm always thinking about throughout my childhood. I'm always thinking about why anything happen. Anything.
Really?
I'm always thinking, why would this happen?
Okay.
Like a reason. So.
Give me an example.
It could be even somebody would say something.
Okay.
And I would always think, until today, I would think.
Even when you're a kid?
Even when I was a kid, yes.
Why did they say that?
So there is a particular reason for everything, There is a reason in anything, even in the stupid things.
Yep.
There's some...
intention.
Yeah.
There's intention.
That's why, to me, it's... It was all big lesson, and I tried to figure out why this happened, because we moved from Moscow to Kyrgyzstan. People don't move from,
why?
From one nice place to, third world country. Yeah.
Why did your parents do that?
It was, just... So my father was smart, but he wasn't, he wasn't... So it feels like he was stupid, to do this. But he wasn't. So that's the first thing I want to say, that he wasn't. So the calculation was we could... Because, okay, first of all, there was relatives live in Kyrgyzstan.
Okay.
And we wanted to be there,
for more support, yeah.
But financially, he was making good money.
In Russia?
My dad.
In Moscow?
In Moscow. And so the calculation, I guess, what I heard, I don't know. We don't talk about this.
Yeah, you're a kid.
That would be, he would put money in the bank, and the percentage, we could live off the percentage.
Yeah, okay.
But 91 hit, and we lost everything.
What happened in 91?
That's a Soviet Union collapse, because Kyrgyzstan was part of Soviet Union.
That's right.
So we lost everything. And so my dad had a heart attack. Yeah. And so he died when he was 49.
Your dad died?
Yes. So he was 49, and he passed away. It's not
From
only the
stress
Soviet
and the
Union
strain?
collapse. I don't think it's only the stress about financial. There was many, layer upon layer, like Soviet collapses. There's something else happening. There was some problems in the church, many things happened, at the same time. And so he died in 96. So 91, it was a collapse. And so this was,
Very tragic.
I believe it's all together. It's not one thing.
Yeah,
it's not
it's
only
compounded.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I did not know.
Yeah. And
that was so traumatic
that
for
would
you.
be another thing, he died. And I always, because there was some life questions for me, like with many questions. And because he, when my father died, there was, in Kyrgyzstan, so when people came to bury him, everybody was asking who died, who that is, who's that person, because there was amount of cars unseen in Kyrgyzstan. So there was like lots of cars, because he was, I don't know even the word, he was taking care of people's souls, like he was good Christian. But he was very good with, he could see the, like a core of things. So people would ask him questions. And so I'm not anywhere close to, my dad. So when he gone, I didn't have any questions. I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And then, a few years later, at 17, I came here.
Did you come here, or did your mom move you
Mom
here?
with 5 kids, yes.
Okay.
So me would be right in the middle.
Yeah.
And then when I started having questions, there was nobody to ask.
Answer.
Yeah. And I went to different pastors, of different churches, different denominations. And I heard nothing. Nothing. I mean, there was a point some things were happening to me, like almost metaphysical, because, some things going on in my soul, in my body, I feel it. And it was scary.
Yeah.
I did not know what to do.
Yeah,
so
you're having an awakening.
So I came to one pastor, and he says, "Oh, let's pray,
Pray about
brother.
it.
Let's pray.
Yeah,
okay.
let's pray about it.
Let's pray about it." Nothing happened. It did not help.
No.
And then another one. I said, "I'm talking about disclosing my problem." Another prayer, nothing. until I found this book.
That's why you read.
Yeah.
You're looking for all the
And then,
answers.
and then when I discovered what my problem was through this book,
What was your problem, according to the book?
it was my problem was pride. But it's not pride, so there is, okay. Okay, we're getting into very interesting, like
Yeah.
the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, we are. We're getting into it.
If we gonna talk about it, I think it's would be useful to talk about like all the details.
Okay,
Not
talk about the
only-
details.
Okay, so I did not, in the night, I would be so afraid. It would be like I couldn't move.
Uh-huh.
I could not move a muscle.
Yep.
So scary.
Yep.
And I had no idea what this is.
I forgot what it's called, but it's while you're sleeping, while you're dreaming, right?
So yeah, I would
And
wake
you're
up
frozen.
and I'm frozen.
Yes.
Because I'm scared to move. I couldn't
Yeah.
move. So this is at a certain point it started happening to me, and later on I realized the problem. You know, according to the book. Anyway.
According to the book, you thought it was pride.
Okay. No. So this like fear at night, like horrible fear. So I coming to the pastor, saying, you know, like this is what's going on.
Yeah. And he says, let's pray about it.
They pray, this guy prayed, that guy prayed, you know, nothing happens. Same thing going on. And then John Callimachus, it's an ancient author, like 4th century, or I believe 4th or 6th century author, Christian author. Talk about, so Callimachus, it's based on climbing. So it's John Callimachus, basically meaning like steps to climb. Okay, that's what his...
Levels of consciousness?
Yeah, about levels. And on he talk about, okay, and I found he talks about fears that they could come. Unfortunately, on English, I looked it up a long time ago. And for English, there's pride, okay? There's pride, but there is no word describes moment before pride.
What's the moment before pride?
So that's a condition.
Okay.
That's a condition. So we call it pride.
Okay.
But everything's pride, you know.
Okay.
But there's this condition before pride. On English, it would be pride too. But in the Russian language or Greek,
What's the word for it?
on Russian,
Yeah.
it's nadmenia.
Okay.
So nadmenia, it's something that comes before pride.
Okay. Can you describe what that? What is
Okay,
that like?
so it's like proudness.
Okay.
It's like proudness in the lower level.
Okay.
You know, it's person beginning to feel the pride. You know.
Okay.
So the Callimachus talks about this nadmenia, which is not actual pride, but condition before pride comes. It could come with lots of fears. And so when I found this, I was like, oh my God, this is it. But I was scared to read further because, like, what would be solution? Mm-hmm. And the solution was so simple. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I was coming for a year, like, to pray with different pastors.
Yeah.
Nobody know about this.
Yeah.
But then he says, okay, if you feel this pride, if this is stuff associating with pride, all you need to do is be obedient. So, because pride is disobedience. So, and suggestion was like, in my head, I realized, okay, I have to be, because before, okay, I had business, you know, like I don't want to go into what I was doing. I was successful in something else I was doing. And to me, I was coming home. I got 3 little kids and wife doing some things, and she would ask for like, "Can you wash dishes or vacuum?" I was, "Oh no, this is too low for me."
I'm confused. I thought that this was happening when you were a teenager.
No. This
Okay.
is in the States.
Okay.
When I was married.
Okay.
And
Thank you for catching us up.
I had small kids.
Because we left off at 17, and
Yeah,
somehow we got into this. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I was. I wanted.
So when did these dreams, or when
what-
did this?
what I wanted to say-
When did this begin?
It
How
was
old are you?
Like I was 25.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's later.
So,
okay.
yes.
And you wanted to say something, so go ahead.
And I actually jumped from
Yeah.
I see now.
Yeah. It's
from,
okay.
In the.
I just wanted to catch
spaces.
anybody else up that's
And,
listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So would be. Yeah.
So you're married now. You've got 3 kids. You're living in the U.S.
Yes,
You're
yes,
having
yes, yes.
these moments of terror when
Yes.
you're laying in bed and you're going to the priest. They can't help you. You're reading ancient texts.
Yes.
You find the answer and you're like, aha. And the priest says to you, okay, you just need to practice obedience.
Yeah. The book. The book
book
says
this.
and so I realized, okay, little things in the house. I would ask. She would ask to do something. I was before I would say, like,
That's
because
not my job.
I was. Yeah, it's not my job because I'm too busy with big things.
Yeah.
with the great things.
Yeah. Because you're a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when
you're
I read this,
providing. And
I thought, okay, what's gonna happen if I start doing this? Like, let me try. And I saw anytime she would say something like wash dishes, or I would just start doing little things at home, with my people that surround me. I would just start doing this. It's unbelievable. Just week or like few days later, it was gone, never came back. The fears, in the night, it was gone. And so I realized this was the greatest discovery I made so far, like the biggest discovery that, fear associating.
what do you think you had fear around?
It's just, it's a sign. So fear, not in all the cases,
Yeah. So
but
tell
in
us
some
more.
cases,
Yeah.
fear is a sign that person is on the wrong track.
Right.
He have to.
You're not on your life path.
Yes, you have to.
You veered off your life path. You're not
life
aligned.
path.
Yes.
And you have to be better with people that surround you. Be obedient, like little things like that. And I guess that's where I was going. So when I did not have father next to me, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying
can't imagine
that
it was a good thing.
that because I could not find answers from pastors, so this kind of led me to read this ancient Christian
Finding your
authors.
own answers. Yeah.
And I do like Hinduism. I was, Bhagavad Gita, many books that I like. I used to read, but so actually the answers I start looking before was in. So the way I start doing this is, I decided to find the oldest religion to find answers.
What is the oldest religion?
It would be like a Hinduism,
Okay.
Vedical.
Vedic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Vedic. Sorry.
Yeah. And so I start looking for answers there, but simultaneously, but when I actually went to this,
And how old are you now?
I'm 40.
But when is this happening?
43.
Okay, so is this still happening at 25?
It's actually like what began. Like
Okay,
that's what
around 25.
Around 25.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I have 3 kids,
Okay.
3 little kids.
Yeah.
And so this is start happening.
Yeah. You're
And-
having a spiritual awakening.
Yes, I don't know. It's hard to say. About. I realize many things.
Yeah.
Not at once. So the
It's
realization,
an evolution.
realization comes to anybody as a bulk, but you have to give it time to realize what actually
Sure,
you
of
receive.
course.
It's like
Yeah.
you receive.
It's called
answer.
a download.
Yeah. Okay, you receive it.
Yeah.
And then
you have to process it and integrate it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that takes time.
Process it. One time I thought I went crazy with with my studies. Like all of a sudden I understand something big.
Yeah.
And it took me like 3 days to come to senses. This is what I got. And so it's the something comes in the bulk, in like
It drops in.
Yep. And you getting lost.
Yeah,
So
your ego is like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you can't comprehend it. Yes.
Challenges everything that I thought before. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it takes sometimes years to comprehend.
Sure,
like,
of course.
oh, that's what's going on.
Yes.
And so,
especially if you have a lot of pride.
Yeah.
Or a lot of ego. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is you had a lot of ego.
Yeah, ego, and you have to get rid of it,
Well, you can't get rid of it. It steers your life here. But, it makes good decisions for you. It helps you drive a car. It helps you not get hit by a car.
Yeah. So unfortunately, see, we are limited in terms.
We are.
And when we talk about like pride, so the English is even more limited than Russian.
Yes.
Because we have,
we don't have enough words for it.
Or Russian limited in some ways more than Greek.
Yeah.
They would have different terms for different
feelings.
Yeah. So we call it one thing.
Incremental. Yeah.
And there would be like different names on a different language would have a specific, like in ancient Russian, there is a specific name for left hand and specific name for right hand.
Huh.
I'm actually not sure if any other language has this. I'm sure there is a language that would. So whenever I say this word, it only means right hand.
Yeah.
When I say this word, it only means left hand.
Yeah.
So I use only one word to describe, left
and right
or right. Yes. And so that's why the texts we have problem always with different texts, ancient, because we can't have enough. So, but the soul.
We don't have enough words.
But soul understands everything.
Understands it.
Soul understands everything.
Yeah.
And soul knows everything.
Yeah, it sure does.
So I like the ancient idea that we're not learning, we remembering. Yeah, we are finding things.
We are continually waking up to remembering what we already know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's an evolution process. Yeah.
Yes. And so
it's a shedding of the conditioning of our childhood. Yeah, of what we were taught over and over again and socially conditioned to believe about ourselves and about the world around us and about our families. And then you spend the rest of your life stripping that away, hopefully, stripping that away and unraveling it.
Mm-hmm.
And becoming truer to who you are at a core.
But it's impossible. Like
of course. We're going to be doing it until we die. Yeah.
Because we live, actually, that's a good one. On English, I can say the object is, it's laying, right? Laying. Mm-hmm. But there's also, the object could lie, right? Lie or lay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are we going to start making fun of English? Because
English
is really fucked up. When it comes to learning this language, it has the weirdest rules.
It's fun to to find those little things that actually say big things.
Yeah.
Anyway, lie.
Yeah.
But what's another word when I say lie?
Yeah, you're not telling the truth.
Not telling the truth.
Yeah.
So something on the surface, it never tells you the truth. It's only on the surface. And all we see everywhere we look, you go to political world, economical, all we being said, like people tell us only the surface,
Yep.
which is lie all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
So in order to get to the truth, you have to dig.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It has to be your own self.
Yes.
So you kind of, and sometimes it's against your will. Sometimes sometimes I'm going to start reading books. Okay. I'm going to start going to gym. Sometimes you can force yourself. But many times, if you're capable, like God knows if you are, He give you this crazy lessons that break you.
Okay. Yes.
So that's my translation of biblical text, where Jesus says, there was master that gave 10 what's a word, like 10
fish.
no
Are you talking about Jesus?
silver. So
Okay.
he
Coins.
was parable.
Okay.
He was saying that, let's say coins.
Yeah.
He gives 10 coins to one person and says, go do whatever it takes to make it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he gives another person 5 and another person 1. And everybody thinks, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying
the person with 10 is going to be able to come up with more.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's easier, from the standpoint of making money. It's easier when you have 10. It's easier to make another 1 or 2 or 3 or
Sure.
10. But when you have 1, it's the hardest part.
Yeah.
So, and Jesus says He gave according to the talent. So we think that person that received 10 have a more talent. Mm-hmm. And I think no. Yeah. I think the person that received
has the
1
most talent.
have the most talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a different topic why he refused to do it. He just refused. He said, Lord, you are mean, and you want everything for free. I'm not going to do anything. So I put it away.
Who says this?
That's person that received one coin.
This is in the parable.
Yeah, in the parable.
Okay.
And so
I'm just going to put it away. I'm not going to do anything with it.
You're
making it too hard for me.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So life happens to people, with or without your will. He knows what you're capable of, and the Creator. And give you some challenges that, why, Lord? Why? The other people don't go through this crap, through this hardships. Why me, Lord? Because you're capable. That's why you're learning things that otherwise, So it's you have potential.
So you feel that God gives you challenges based upon what He thinks that you can overcome.
If you can overcome, it's even doesn't. I don't know. Sometimes I think He doesn't care if you can overcome it or not. If you can at least get idea like the lesson.
Okay.
The lesson learned.
Sure.
Even though you can't overcome it, you still can get it. Maybe not in this life, but you will get something, for the next.
Okay.
Some idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe that you choose.
You choose.
You choose.
Yes.
I believe that you come into this life because you wanted certain lessons that help you evolve as a soul.
100%.
And
100%.
You
choose. But you choose.
And then you forget.
And you don't know about this.
Yeah.
Yes. You know your path.
And then you're waking up to the fact that you chose all of these things. And that you have some free will, right? Because you don't have
Andrea,
to.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
Okay, tell me.
Something that I'm afraid to talk about among Christian people,
Okay,
because
you talk about it with me.
because they will think I'm what's it called, heretic. I am.
I am a heretic.
I am.
I was raised by a Christian Scientist mother. I was the only child that was required to go to Christian school. Mm-hmm. I was a born-again Christian when I was in junior high. I was trying to save everyone. I was convinced that everyone was going to die if I didn't save them. So I was in a panic, asking people if they had asked Jesus into their heart, because that's what, my teachers and the priests and everyone had told me, that I needed to be asking everyone around me.
So you were a fanatic.
Oh, yeah, I was a fanatic. I was a fanatic. I was totally indoctrinated. And then I went to Catholic high school because my mother decided that was the best school in the area. Mm-hmm. And she convinced a priest at a church that we'd never attended to write me a letter of recommendation because we didn't attend church. My parents were only practicing religion when it made sense, mm-hmm. not necessarily as people. And so they sent me to this Catholic high school, and I had brothers and, monsignors, and Catholicism is a very different religion. And I showed up in religion class, which was required. And all of my teachers were like, everyone's a Christian. Mm-hmm. Your religion doesn't exist. Now you need to learn what our religion is. This is the right religion. And I was a teenager. It made me so angry and so resentful, right? Because someone was again, teaching me what is right. And it wasn't until I think it was my junior or my senior year. I was the kid that was always raising their hand. I had lots of questions. Mm-hmm. I was always challenging. I was always like you. I was always questioning why. Mm-hmm. Like, why? And how did we get two of every animal on an ark that managed to float through a storm and everybody survived somehow? And like, how? And I just kept getting the answer, have faith. And that phrase alone was the nemesis. Like, that drove me crazy as a teenager, just to have faith. Because I was like, what am I having faith in? I pray to a God that never really answers. I pray for things to change. I come from a family of abuse. God must not love me, right? Because why would this continue to happen? And it wasn't until my junior or senior year that I was actually allowed to take a different kind of religion class, and it was called world religions. Mm-hmm. And so, I was introduced to some of the religions that you've read about. And in that process, I was like, oh, I knew it. Other people think differently, right?
Yes.
And so that expanded my ability to think differently and allowed me the freedom to choose differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can be blasphemous because, I would say I'm a recovering Christian.
Yes. See,
because there are wonderful things about it. I'm not saying that. But that, to me, religion takes the power outside of me and it places it in something outside of me. And it makes me powerless or a victim in my circumstances. It doesn't allow me the empowerment to choose and or take responsibility for.
I understand.
Yeah.
But for so some things, it's really weird with me that even though I see some, I can talk about reincarnation.
Yes.
and some things that came with us, or we knew our path before we came here.
Yes.
But Jesus, to me, it's a cornerstone.
Yeah. Who do you think Jesus was?
So he is a Messiah.
Yes.
He is a Messiah.
Yeah. He came here to remind us of our power.
He's a Messiah, and even in the book of Death, Egyptian, you can find some. So
you can read Egyptian?
No, I don't read it. I read on Russian.
Oh, okay,
you can find this stuff. But
And there's a book of death.
Yes. Actual book of death, Egyptian book of death. You can, it's fun if you like, some ancient like literature. It's like very nice you can, but anyway, so whenever I read any religious texts of different religions,
Yeah.
I see that they talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Even Book of Death talk about
I'm
Redeemer.
not negating that he existed. I absolutely believe he was a man and he came and all of those horrible things happened. And all of those wonderful things happened too.
And horrible things, they are like, so he's the one, like he's the one. So like I was saying, any religion text you can find pointing on some redeemer. For example, like Book of Death would say he comes on a donkey. Like you can't make this stuff up,
Yeah. It's consistent.
Yeah,
no
it's
matter
everywhere.
where it's written. Yeah.
The problem is like you have to. So the problem with most people is you have to give up something. Okay, I'm no longer Christian. I'm this or that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, like I said, Christ is a cornerstone, and I fascinated by reading other texts.
Yeah, describing it.
They not harm my Jesus.
Yeah,
That's in my what I see
yeah.
the picture of my Jesus. They don't harm. They actually prove it over and over again.
It's consistent.
But I don't know who he. So he's done something that's a mystery. He's done something that. We can talk about that we can relate to him because he suffered the most, and so anything happens, I can look at him, at him,
for
at his suffering, and, and be inspired.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I can look at his mother, Jesus' mom.
Yes.
And just because she actually gave birth.
Yeah.
To like God,
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's things we can relay as humans.
But every mother gives birth to God. She is the creator.
Yes, mother is a creator.
She is creating and she is birthing, right? A new creation, and everyone has God in them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can go even further. If we take biblical story about creation. Think about this. God created
let me think about
something from nothing.
Yes.
Okay? Something from nothing.
Right.
From the dirt, he took human.
Yes.
So if we meditate, about the creation process, we can relate to this table, this glass, this things that was taken from earth.
Yep.
This is my brother, my microphone.
But we can also create it. It also empowers us to recognize that we can create something from nothing, right? It is a parable. It is a lesson. His life is a lesson, right? That religion is a lesson to us. It just isn't a lesson to us in the way that religion has typically, modern religion has typically wanted us to believe, right? Yeah. So modern religion tends to teach it in a way that is for control, right? And dominance.
Yes.
To keep people in line, right? To shame them for their sins, to teach them good versus evil, right? As opposed to the empowerment of what you said, this is my brother, or that I can also create something from nothing, back to the parable of the one coin, right? That I can just have one coin and I have the power to choose to put it in my pocket or to make something out of it. Right, and so that's the lesson as well.
Yes. So we have a power.
Yes.
And then we talk about Satan. What power does he have? It was given to him by whom?
God.
Yeah. So is the only question
or
is
the universe.
Are we switching this towards positive or towards negative?
Sure.
The same power.
Yeah.
Same 110 volts. We can direct into
For sure.
somebody's
and
jacuzzi.
we have a lot of that. We have a lot of that going on, right? We have a lot of evil going on.
Yeah, we can put it in jacuzzi.
It's a misuse of power.
Yes, yes. And
because everyone has the same amount of power. Yes.
Yes, and we have to...
It just depends on your belief system.
But you have to be careful. Like, okay, with the negative emotions, because we have, for example, 110 volts.
Yeah.
For it's easy to understand.
Yes.
Okay. We have current.
Okay.
But we have current. Everyone in the world have a certain current connected to us.
Yes.
But with different emotions, for example, hatred, I can curse somebody.
Yes.
And I would put this 1 volt and stick it into this person. He knows it or not, doesn't matter. I stick it into him.
You're sending it his way.
But if I live my life in hatred, I have this tiny rays going everywhere.
Yes, you do.
And I have this creative energy. So this is 110 volts of creative energy that was given to me.
Yep.
To create my life.
Yep.
To make things right.
Yep.
And I direct this energy into people, negative way.
Yes.
So it says release. Unfortunately, I don't know this on English, how
That's
it sounds, but release.
Your attachment.
Yeah, release this attack. So it basically says release suffering to the free, like free suffering. Means it's in Isaiah. He talks about God actually, says himself, release the ones that you kind of have this, you hold them, you have to release them. Meaning those little attachments that you send, you can even forget about it, You did it once upon a time, long time ago. You hated somebody, you cursed somebody. And you move on, you live your life, but this attachment's still there. You forgot about it long time ago.
It's called an energetic cord.
Yes. So you have to cut it by doing, it can be, Christian talk about meditation. There is a meditation.
Yes.
There is a Christian.
Yeah.
It's funny that ancient Christianity have some weird stuff that you can find. You say, oh, it's Hinduism. Like some postures.
Yeah.
They can bring, they talk about bringing mind into your heart. Terminology.
Yeah.
And there's some things that to modern Christian that don't know about ancient Christianity, it would be shocked to learn.
I'm sure.
That they talk about things that, if you hear without word Christ or, or Jesus or Christian,
you would think it was Hinduism
you
or
would
another
think
religion.
that this is like some weird stuff.
This is Eastern philosophy.
But you need to.
But it all stems from the same origin. It was Eastern. Christianity was Eastern.
Yeah. And so you have to release. You have to cut this.
Yes.
Cut this open by
because that's
forgiving.
That's ultimate freedom right there.
And there is a practice, nice one, that you can do, like actual meditation, because sometimes it's hard to forgive somebody. But it's a kind of different topic. But forgiving would be important.
We'll talk about it off air, and you can give me a source, and I'll put it in the show notes. Okay. So we have not covered any of the questions that I had planned, but this is fascinating. I love where we've gone with this, honestly. Like, it's been a great conversation.
Thank you. Yes, that's good.
Yeah. How did you get into a radio show?
That's actually what happened to me is with these books.
Okay. Tell us about that. And then I want to talk about your wife, too. Okay.
Yeah. So the books I started reading, it was Hindu. I really like Hinduism.
Me too.
So I was into Hinduism, but then when I discovered the ancient Christianity. So I forgot about everything else. I just starting with that problem, I realized
you know what that is, right, Alex?
What?
That's your past lifetime. The reason why you're so fascinated by it is because you used to live it. That's why it's so familiar. That's why you can't get enough, right? You're like, that's the validation I've been looking for. I've been trying to prove this to everybody here, and nobody gets it. And here I am finally getting to my roots of something that finally makes sense to me.
Yes. So to me, it makes so much sense.
To you.
Yes, to me.
Because of your past history.
Because of whatever, but since that time, I was shocked to learn about, ancient Christianity, where I was meeting with people who, my good friend, he was planning to open radio in Portland, Russian radio.
Okay.
And we were meeting at Shabbat every Friday, drinking wine and talk about radio.
Okay.
I could care less, it was just fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Every Friday, we've been drinking.
Now, so you say Shabbat. So were you raised Russian Jew?
No, he's
Russian
He is, yes.
Okay.
So he's a Russian Jew, and
Okay.
he tried to convince me all the time that I'm Jew as well.
That's my family.
So yeah, and he were talking about opening radio, and so he tried to convince I'm a Jew, and there's other people were coming, so we were always fighting. Well, good fight,
Yeah.
They were talking about ideas of Judaism, and I was always rebel with Christian ideas.
Yeah.
But when
we were debating.
Yes.
Yes.
And when I discovered this ancient texts, ancient Christian books, this was my passion. So I was only talking about these ideas,
Yes, sharing them.
Yes, and so when he actually got the channel, got the station, he said, we enjoy listening to you, like when we talk. Do you wanna take an hour or two?
Awesome.
So and I thought, yes, okay. And I start on the radio. I was doing is comparing ancient Christianity
to regular
orthodoxy. I should say orthodoxy.
Orthodox Christianity to modern Christianity.
To modern Christianity, just making parallels. That whatever is modern is just so insane. Like there's nothing Christian about modern Christian. Like some, not all, but some modern Christianity. There's nothing Christian about it.
I know.
And so
it's so disappointing.
See, but I was a member of a church. At a certain church
here in Portland.
Yes, that my pastor said, Alex, quit. He says you need to, because I was doing different business before. I was very known in the community, in Russian community. And he says, Alex, do what you do best. Go do that thing what you've done, like in a business. Quit preaching on the radio. And then I realized,
so much fear.
Yeah, and I'm just doing it from my good intentions, actually, to even point out this guy, everybody. Just look where you are. Look where you are.
Yeah, just have awareness.
Just flip.
Yeah.
Just look what's going on. Look where you standing and ancient Christians standing. Just do some changes, don't go with the
You were challenging their beliefs.
Yes. And so I had so much pressure.
I'm sure.
But it was actually igniting me even more.
I'm sure it was.
It was like feeling so good.
From the little that I know of you, I can imagine.
Yes, it felt great.
Yeah.
And then
you were like me in religion class. I was like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, when my religion teacher said, just learn it for the test, I was like, I finally got you. Yeah, you're finally admitting you don't know.
Yeah, and there are some topics that I don't even want to raise because, like, okay, I'm just going to bring this. If somebody's Christian, you need to read 85 apostolic rules. That's what it's called. It's ancient. It's a first pretty much text,
Okay.
Christian text. Not first, but rules of the church. Like every church have set of rules.
Yeah.
So it was set of rules of the first church.
Okay.
Because they know how to, how to baptize, how to do this or that. Bible don't say, biblical.
The Bible is just a story.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stories.
Yeah, a lot of stories. But in New Testament, it says about pastors, how he can be pastor, somebody, what qualifications supposed to have.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say much.
Yeah.
New Testament doesn't say much.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stories.
Yeah, but this old texts actually say exactly how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to know, but ignore some things. But it's like some people need to know this.
Yeah.
Especially people
you were trying to educate people more deeply on the things that they believe, and you're being challenged.
You have to. Do. Anyway, this is.
So that's how you got involved in the radio show, and you don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I quit on my will, because I realize it goes. I don't have love for people.
You don't have love.
I don't love people. So when I was talking about those things.
Tell me more about this, Alex.
Okay, I can. When I find some things that are contradicting, actual religion, like today, modern Christianity and ancient Christianity, I was talking about those things because I felt good. It's but I felt almost like sort of hatred.
Are you talking about pride again?
No, it's different. So I thought if I don't have the compassion, so I was happy to get them,
I see. Mm-hmm.
But I didn't love them. Mm-hmm. So I thought I realized, okay, there's a
you weren't
story
being loving. I see what you mean.
About one.
You don't mean I don't love people in general. You mean in that act of having the radio show, you realized you weren't being loving towards others.
Yes.
I see what you mean.
The people I talk about.
Yeah.
I should
have more compassion for their experience and what they believe.
Not enjoy that I know they're wrong.
And that you're better in some way.
Yes.
Like you know more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a parable. I think it's in the
That's
in
what
the
I meant by pride.
That somebody, or maybe not. Anyway, where mother brings boy to the priest and say, "Can you tell him not to eat candies? He eats too much sugar." Mm-hmm. And he says, "Come back in 3 days." So mother comes with the boy back to the priest 3 days later. And he told him, "Don't eat candy." And then...
Did it work?
And it worked. She said, next time she saw him, "Why did you say come back in 3 days? You could say this immediately."
You could say it now, yeah.
Yeah. And he said that I had to give up candy for 3 days in order to say it. Because otherwise it wouldn't work. So something simple you can say, but it's not going to have power unless you practiced it, You can just like they say, practice what you preach.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I was kind of...
Back to the intention of your word.
Yeah. And so I was just saying lots of things. They were nice. They were cool. But inside, I was not right. I didn't like them. Any of the pastors. Even till today, I have my favorite pastor is Brad. It's from Athey Creek Church. I love him, Everybody else, I don't know much about different pastors. But whoever I saw, interacted with, they don't show me example, except this guy, Brad. I forgot his last name.
Yeah. We don't need to get into who Brett is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a guy who.
Well, I would imagine that you have a lot of anger and resentment built up from the fact that priests didn't have the answers for you for so long, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually coming back to
So
the death of my father.
retaliation, right?
Yeah, it's like coming back to death of my father. And whenever I think about reasons, it's like, and every day something happens, and what's the purpose, of this or that, or somebody's death and stuff like this, and if you look for answers, you get this. Sometimes you made up your own answers. Sometimes you're making them up because you want to know why, and you make them up, to feel better. But sometimes you get like a real deal, like real answers, like wow.
Well, why do things happen? Things happen for the lesson. What is it teaching you?
Yes.
What did your father's death teach you, right? What did that experience teach you? It taught you self-reliance. Your lesson over and over and over again was self-reliance. Over and over again until you finally got it. And then when you finally got it, you didn't have to learn it anymore.
Yes. Yeah, there is a thing like this. I can actually find myself, what you're just saying, that you just encounter something over and over until a certain moment.
Yeah, and it gets
realization.
louder and louder and louder and louder until you're like, oh, I can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
So back to that free will we were talking about, right? Because I said you choose. And I'm not saying that your entire life is planned out, but there are significant moments that you encounter. And if you choose not to learn that lesson at that time, you're going to get it again. It's going to come in a different way. It'll come with a different person. It'll come in a different environment. It'll continue to come until you've learned and evolved through that lesson. And that's why I believe, right, we come here to learn lessons.
Yes,
it's like school.
See, what my personal experience, which is also like really weird for Christian to talk about this, that I remember the way, like my day before I was born, I think. I remember in my mind, I don't know how I know this. I just remember, I remember when my soul was not in my body yet.
I believe you.
And so it was, I don't know how I got this. Like, it was a long time. Like,
as far back as you can remember.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm choosing family. I'm choosing family.
Yes.
And among all of these families, I see my parents, and I see, like, with every family, I see my whole path.
Yep.
Like, complete path, like from beginning to end. And this is judgment. So this is like a judgment day, hour, time, I don't know, moment, judgment moment, where my soul is in the presence of God.
Yep.
And I see different families, and I know my path, and I know what to choose because I'm in the presence of God. And I know it's a judgment, but I choose it with my. I'm happy to choose this judgment.
Yes.
This is great. This is awesome. Like, I'm choosing families, and I know, okay, this is going to be like all the situations.
This is what I want to learn.
Hardships and stuff. And
this is what's going to teach me.
God gives me this. I'm choosing, but only in the presence of God with His wisdom.
Yeah.
But my soul next to Him knows everything.
Yes.
And so,
because you're one. When
I chose my family, I start getting, so that's the moment I don't know. Like, what's the moment? My mother was pregnant like in a 9 month. Was it during a birth, or was it when I was just consumed, like, or when I was first day? I don't know when, but my soul with this love that, surrounded me, went into my body, and then this love hid it from me. He hid, like God hid himself in the love of my mother. So he hid himself where this feeling kind of went towards my mom. So I start realizing not God but my mom. Like he
mother is God. Especially when you're a child, she is what sustains you. If she doesn't care about you, you will die.
Yes.
If she doesn't feed you, if she doesn't care about you, you will perish.
But yes, the only problem, how person is consumed in the womb. That's
conceived.
Conceived. The process. So another reason why the biblical, Bible is my book of my choice. Okay, is because it says something about crown, for example. Okay, it talks about everything.
Yeah.
So there is some people will receive crown. Okay, when they're gonna get, but the sperm. It has a crown. It's so-called crown. It has to go through. So So when you do parallels from the
conception.
Yeah, from all this period where it moves, 300 million. So you better than other 300 million. Everybody is better than other 300 million.
I know.
And
it's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yes, 300 million. It's
how we exist.
Yes.
And as you read, for instance, I don't know if you've ever done something like Ancestry.com or 23andMe, where you do a saliva test and then you can find out.
Yeah, I never done it.
Okay, I've done it. And what's fascinating to me also is to recognize as you read, so Ancestry.com will go through the history of your family, and it'll show you what they had to survive in order for you to be here. It is unreal what my history is.
So it's layer upon layer of survival.
Of survival in order for me to exist.
Even ancient...
all of my ancestors, what they had to survive in order for me to be here right now.
Yes. But also they believed.
They absolutely did.
Even the ancient, groups of people that, that were living in small tribes of 25 people.
Well, I told you,
less.
My great-grandfather was the chef to Tsar Nicholas. And he escaped Russia. Yeah. That's the only reason why I'm here.
That's how much he loved Tsar, that he escaped Russia.
But that's why I'm here.
Or he knew it. Yeah, he knew.
Yeah. He opened a restaurant in Hollywood.
That's cool.
Yeah. But that choice, I wouldn't exist. It would not exist. I mean, you could say maybe I would exist in some other way. The lineage might have broken off and, somehow I could have evolved in a different family. But the point is that's how I'm here. It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me that these choices, create who we are today.
Yes. So what's more fascinating is everything is planned. Okay. There's a creator and a planner.
Yeah.
How, what kind of mind this creator is supposed to have in order to control all of this that looks like uncontrollable.
No one's necessarily controlling it. I think you can both agree, or we can both agree, that when we're a soul, we are the same energy, right? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea.
Okay, you don't remember that part. But the point is we are of the same energy until we incarnate into a body, right? We are the same energy. Everything is connected. Everything is connected until we come here. This is where we learn separateness. This is where we learn individualism. This is where we learn that we are an individual frequency or 120 volts, right?
Yeah.
This is where we learn that.
Yeah, this is we learn something for sure.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
learn lots of things.
I don't know exactly what we learn.
Yeah. Well,
but we're learning.
It's particular to the individual, right? And a collective experience too. I'm not going to negate that. Okay, so before we finish, because this entire day, the whole reason why we're talking is because of a conversation we had standing in my bedroom, hanging a light fixture in my house.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you almost lost your wife this past year.
Yeah.
And so I think we've set the stage for that quite well.
Yeah.
And so can you tell us what led to those events? And then can you tell us what you learned from that experience and how that's changed you?
Well, it's I never understood many things until this point.
Okay.
Like I had no idea. People I see. You watch movies. People die. You know, like my father died.
Yes.
But like wife is somebody that's not is so close to me.
Yeah.
Like I never knew that we are so close. Like. There is a ground like it's level 0. Okay, like my kids would be level 1. My relatives level 2.
Okay.
So there's nobody closer
Then your wife.
than my wife.
Okay.
Yes.
And you didn't realize that.
we
How
live
long
our
have you
lives.
been married?
22 years.
Okay.
When we leave, we don't pay attention. Well, it's a standard thing, you come from work, you eat,
you're
you
cooking
go
the dinner,
there
you take care of the
somewhere,
kids, you go to bed, you do the next day. Yeah.
Just but when this happened.
So what happened first?
So basically, she had inside her, like from spine, between the muscles, she had this infection.
Okay.
That actually, it's interesting that we still go for checkup, and everybody who's opening, chart, they said they're like don't understand like how this happened, because this infection is supposed to be on the outside. Like this type of infection never grows inside between the like stuff like this. So it was really weird. Like,
and probably hard to determine what was going on.
So when we get, like, she's pain tolerant, like very, very much. I would be already, doing something long time ago.
Is she Russian?
She's Kyrgyz.
Okay.
So she's
that makes
native.
sense.
So she's tolerant.
I tell my dad, I'm like,
well, she have mother is Ukrainian, mother and father is Kyrgyz.
Okay, so I tell my dad all the time. My dad's the Russian, right? I mean, he's Russian and Czech, but I tell him, I make a joke that he eats nails for breakfast. Because he's always like, "You're of our family. You're strong. Don't ever forget how strong you are." And I'm like, "Oh, I know." To a fault.
Women are much stronger, like
to a fault. We're a little too strong.
Yes.
Yeah, we can tolerate, like, my pain threshold is ridiculous. Yeah.
Anyway.
I think the needle is a little broken, to be honest. Yeah.
So when we came, the problem was, it's like really awkward that they said, okay, after first check, because she had this like unbelievable pain.
Yeah.
We went to emergency, but she felt it for a month before, whole month. But
she was just
a certain day, it just like something broken inside.
Yeah, and she couldn't take it
anymore. She said, let's go.
Yeah. But she still didn't know what was going on for like a month.
No, we didn't know.
And it wouldn't go away. And
they lock us up. They do some tests and lock us up in a room with everybody's like super closed room. They said it's tuberculosis. And luckily, I know that when I went to college here, I encountered same problem when I was tested. And I was tuberculosis positive, but I was told that you don't have. So all the Russian people, they have so-called BCG vaccine. So Soviet Union, everybody have BCG vaccinated.
Got it.
Which is part of tuberculosis bacteria.
And it's in your body.
Give into your body.
Yeah.
So it would be present in a small dose.
But it doesn't mean you have tuberculosis.
So your body is all constantly fighting it and learns how to resist tuberculosis.
That's what a vaccine is about. Yeah.
But in the States, they don't do this. Mm-hmm. So when they found this and they lock us up in this room.
You're like, no, she doesn't have tuberculosis.
I knew what kind of vaccine, but I had to look it up because luckily I had this in my back of my head, this is vaccine.
Yeah.
So I found this is a BCG vaccine.
Yeah.
And so only 2 days later, they said, yes, okay, you don't have nothing. So it was.
But they still don't know what's wrong.
So and so but then they said we're gonna take the sample. What's it called?
Yeah.
We're gonna take sample, and I said no. Like me and my wife, we are weird, all right. We think that there are lots of parasitic stuff inside the bodies that nobody talks about in the United States, especially. And sometimes you have this. If it's some sort of parasite, if it's going to be poked with needle, for the sample, you're a dead man, because it's going to break this thing and persons dies.
I see where you're going with this. Uh-huh.
So, and my uncle, 2 years before that, he passed away. He had same side.
Yeah.
Big problem.
Yeah.
He was poked.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, he died.
He's dead.
2 or 3 days.
So both of you are like, no way, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing this. And they say, what do you want to do? I said, just open up. You have, obviously there is a problem, obviously.
Yeah, so check it out.
And I was fighting with them. I was, telling them why you have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Each time with each patient, you have to do the same stupid thing. You poke. You take
Yeah.
Don't you have a database, similar situations with like they starting from zero.
Yeah.
So this is so stupid.
Yeah.
What's going on?
They want to take a biopsy.
Stupid. They want to do the biopsy.
Yeah, biopsy.
That's the word. They want to start with the biopsy.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
So
they open her up. Finally.
No, they didn't.
They never opened her
They
up.
never. They said, no, what do you want to do? I said, surgery, just open up and, you can get your samples there.
Yeah.
You can at least, there's a problem. You
can see what it is.
They're like, no, okay, no. So, and they were coming every day and saying, okay, let's do the biopsy.
Yeah.
You want to do the biopsy? No.
Trying to convince
we
you.
want to. So 3 days later, they just coming every single day and asking same thing. Are you ready for it? No, we just say we want to be.
Yeah.
Let's do something.
Yeah.
And so we understood that
they weren't going to help you.
They're not going to do anything except what they want to do. And they want to do biopsy. So we agree, but I understood what happened to my uncle.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same what's going to happen to her. So we both understood that she's gone.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere to turn,
So what did you do?
We said, okay, do it. And so I got some church candles, opened up book of Psalms, It was, I was home at that time because I had to be home. I have kids,
Yeah.
But I spent pretty much 2 weeks in a hospital, right on this uncomfortable chair there. For the time we were from beginning to end, about 2.5 weeks. Mm-hmm. But when she had surgery, I had to be home, and I told her to call me before surgery so we all can,
Yes.
pray and stuff.
Yes.
And yes, I've been for this time I was praying, like reading. I cannot say Book of Psalms because that particular psalm, we have English and Russian are different numbers.
Okay.
I would say one number,
Yeah.
it would be an English different number.
Okay. So you're reading the Book of Psalms.
Yeah, for this time, like 2 hours. Stressed, I don't know. And so it happened. So it was fine. She didn't die. Okay. So when they took the sample, and they could not figure out what is this, how it happened to be inside.
Yeah.
Between the muscle all the way to the spine, like.
Yeah.
And so after a couple more days, they made a surgery.
Yeah. And so after the surgery, she was fine.
Yeah, she was fine, and it's just a realization of things,
Okay.
like
So what was the realization?
just like it was much more vivid back then,
Yeah.
like when it was happening, just happened.
Mm-hmm.
That it's okay. Death is called in the Bible is enemy. But to me, I thought it's probably not God's enemy, like, or see, I think about things on my language.
Yeah. And then you're translating it into
Yeah.
English. I get
Yeah,
it.
so it's enemy of the person, death, but it must be. It must exist, death. It's when it comes, it doesn't, you can't set up a time, you can't set up an appointment. It just comes. But the problem is, when it comes, all of a sudden you're realizing so many things of true. Like the death, it brings honest look on your life, like all opinions gone, all the ideas gone. It gives you this unbelievable sobriety, like to look at things
Clearly.
You clearly
See things
everything.
very clearly.
You see the relationship, and every time you were a little bit wrong about anything, it judges you like really, really, like your conscience.
Yeah.
You realize, okay, here I was very, very wrong.
Yeah.
It gives so much pain, like this realization of clarity. So it's like, I don't know, it's like peeling you, this encounter.
Yeah.
And I see that I was, like many things with my family, where I was wrongly, even had some, like anything, bad thoughts or anything, it just peels off, and you see clearly. That's what's really, really tough. And you're never ready for it, You never can be ready. So that's when another part that I realize, it's like God. So it's a simple idea. With me and Jesus, it's a very simple idea that there are, rules. Okay. Judaism have 560, commandments, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, 513. So you have to follow all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
All the rules you have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
In order for what? To be saved. Or like there's no even salvation in the idea in the Judaism. There's nothing. It's just you have to follow the rules. That's it. Why? We have to follow the rules. Don't
Right.
ask why. We just do it.
Yes.
But when you look at, like in the book of Job, he's says something that angels are dirty, or stars are dirty in front of God. They see imperfection in stars. God sees all the imperfections in stars. Or in the prophet says there was cherubims, if I say it right.
Cherubs.
Cherubim. It's angels that have 6 wings. With 2 wings, they closing their faces. With 2 wings, they closing their feet. And with 2 wings, they fly. I realized that why would they close their faces? They are pure. They'd never done anything, nothing. Angels never had bad thought, never had even slight, like they are so pure, we don't even know. It's pure, more pure than light, the angels. And yet they're closing their faces in front of God. What are they afraid of, And then when I realized that for me, there is no salvation, there is no, I cannot be, even here, I can't be perfect. There's not enough, 513 commandments, not enough. 1 million commandments, it's not enough for me to stand in the presence of God. So there's somebody supposed to be between him of the same nature as God, same qualities, that not closing his face in front of God. But at the same time, he is supposed to have human body. So he would be mixed with humanity. This spirit, this pure spirit, that not afraid of God, not closing face in front of him, supposed to have 2 kinds mixed. This is the only way where I can stand upright inside and come to different realizations without fear, without closing, because I'm not gonna close my face. If for example, if I die right now, I'm not gonna close my face like angel in front of God and stay there. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run to hell. Like it would be a place with no God, I would be running away from this pure, unless there is this form of who Jesus is. I don't know. I mean, we all know, but we have no clue what he actually is. I don't know. But this is something that I need, like to be, whenever I rely that, he kind of stands and I lay on him, and all of a sudden I in front of God. So this is like really weird. I start receiving these revelations from God, like directly from God, because of Jesus, like because my acceptance, my idea of Jesus, not idea, but because of him, I kind of, when I close to him, like I can't be close. I do bad things every single day. It's not, I'm not preaching. I'm just, my idea, that whenever I'm next to him, I accepting him, then this information not escaping me, it goes from God, it goes, understanding of things, goes to me. But whenever I'm pushing him away, I'm, I don't get things. I become, I don't know, stupid. but anyway.
Or disconnected.
Yeah, disconnect, exactly.
You're disconnected from source.
But so for me, the only connection, and now even like, with what I was saying, that I cannot go to God without somebody, somebody to cover me, So whatever, if it makes sense. So this is kind of a realization that I got, that it doesn't mean that I can do whatever. The only thing I can do is try to do it a little bit better, But I'm screwed. I feel like I'm screwed, because when it comes, my death, I won't be able to, like I said, I won't be able to even cover my face. It's going to be like everything going to be in front of me. There's no escape. So this is like, maybe this would make sense. I don't know. I hope it does. So the death.
Well, I do have to circle around and say that I'm running out of time.
Yes, of course.
But because there's a certain amount of time
Yes.
that I have to keep to. But and you just opened up a very large topic.
Yes.
But I do want to say, at least my own understanding, is that your life review is very similar to you remembering choosing this life with your parents.
Yes. Yes.
Your life review when you die is with you and yourself and your spirit team.
Yes.
Whether that's ancestors, whether that's your life guide, whether that's Jesus because you have a personal relationship with him. Certainly I do. But
I don't,
Okay.
That's the thing. I don't know who he is.
Okay. We can't get into that. We can't get into that. But what I want to finish this, okay, is that I see that you have a lot of fear, right, about death, right? And not completely understanding what will happen, and not understanding how loved you are, how truly loved you are, because that is what God is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that unconditional love.
Yes.
I don't even think that on this planet, any of us have felt what death actually will feel like, right? Is the freedom and the love that you experience after leaving this body. And I truly believe that judgment comes from your own experience, that you are judging yourself, that there is no judgment day. No one's sitting there telling you what you did wrong, that you are in the process of reviewing all of the experiences that you've had in your life.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And that you are deciding what you need to learn again, or what you come back for, or if you're coming back, right? Yeah. And so, back to feeling like you need to have somebody there to protect you from the truth. I think you already got one step closer to the truth just in your wife's experience.
Yes.
Right? So you do have a glimpse. You do have more clarity now. If anything, it's similar to having a near-death experience, in the sense that people leave their bodies and come back after doing a review and say, I didn't want to come back, but these are the reasons why I am here now, and I understand my purpose at such a greater level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, it brought truth.
Yeah. See, bad brought good.
Well, I mean, big experiences do break you open,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And bring in more consciousness as opposed to your ego driving the show, right? So I'm going to have to leave it there. I loved talking to you. I wish that there was more time, but because this is released on the radio, I am limited in the time that we can talk. So thank you so much for everything that you shared.
You're welcome. Glad to be here. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm just going to leave, and I'll leave this in the show notes as well. The reason why I wanted to talk to you about this is because you said death is revealing personal truth regardless if someone is ready for it or not.
Yes.
And I thought that was so profound. And so I wanted to share that with other people. So thank you, Alex, for sharing your story.
You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting this podcast. Your presence here means the world to me, and I'm truly grateful for your time and energy. If this conversation resonated with you or sparked any questions, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from each of you. Your insights, experiences, and curiosities always enrich this space. It's important to remember that trauma, often unseen and unacknowledged, can keep us from living fully in our joy. Through my intuitive healing process, I help release the weight of generational trauma, empowering you to reconnect with your true self and experience life in greater harmony. If you feel called to explore this deeper work, I invite you to book a one-on-one intuitive session or even embark on a personalized journey with a Phoenix Immersion, a 2-day retreat designed to support profound transformation. You can find all the details below. For those who've liked, subscribed, or left comments already, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your engagement means everything, and I'm deeply grateful for the connection we're building in this community. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. I'm excited for all the healing and transformation we'll continue to explore together. As always, I'm forever grateful for you, and I cannot wait to see what unfolds next. Take care, and until next time.